I am 19F, my parents' second child. I have 3 brothers 21, 13, and 7. And a sister, 16. We grew up poor and our parents were often dependent on financial help from relatives, friends, etc. for raising us. This is because even though my dad has a mediocre job and my mom doesn't work, they just kept on popping out one kid after another. My parents are very religious and believe that children are a gift from God. Personally, I think that's total crap. My parents' reproductive choices wouldn't bother me if it hadn't caused my and my siblings' lives to turn to crap. While growing up, we never had new clothes or toys, we had to accept handouts from family members who were better off. We never went out or did anything fun. To top it off, we were well aware that the rest of the family looked down on us for constantly asking for handouts. Now, my older brother and I have managed to get into good colleges and are looking forward to a future that would be better than our parents' lives. He and I were staying at our parents' place for a while due to the COVID-19 lockdown. One morning, my parents called all 5 of us into the living room. Mom said she had great news. The smile that was forming on my face died a quick death when she said we're pregnant. I lost my temper. I asked them how they could be so stupid and irresponsible. Do they not have enough financial troubles already that they have to bring in another mouth to feed? My older brother tried to calm me down, but I was livid. After a lifetime of scarcity because of my parents' stupidity, they still hadn't learned their lesson. I asked them how they planned to provide for the kid. My dad told me I would have to give up the money our great-uncle had left me. He had left all 5 of us some money which only we could access when we turned 18. I said hell no. That money would help pay for my college expenses. He called me selfish for not being there for my family. I told them if they couldn't provide for the kid, they should get an abortion. My mom started crying and called me a heartless monster. Dad told me he was disgusted with me. I told them there was no way I was going to pay for their stupidity, and the only thing I would be willing to pay for is a termination. What I was really worried about was my siblings' lives getting even worse. My older brother and I have escaped our parents' clutches, but the others, especially my younger sister, will be expected to help take care of this baby. No teenager deserves to have their adolescence ruined by diapers and a screaming baby. I know what it's like, as I had to go through that. It was expected of me to be an unpaid nanny to my younger brothers and sister. My older brother could go out with his friends and have fun, but I had to stay home and help give baths and feed the toddlers. I decided to get some family members involved so they could talk some sense into my parents. I called my mom's maternal cousin. She's one of my favorite people. When I told her that mom and dad were having another kid, she reacted with what? Again? I told her everything and how they expected me to hand over my inheritance. She said she was going to speak to my parents and told me not to sign over anything. I promised her I wouldn't, of course I won't. I also called 2 of my first cousins, one of whom is an accountant, so she could explain to my parents how much of a financial liability this baby is going to be and try to convince them to either abort or give it up for adoption. I moved out of my parents' home a few days ago. I was only going to stay there till the lockdown was relaxed, but I just can't bear to listen to my mom's nagging about how this baby is a blessing and that I want to kill it. I've moved into a friend's basement for minimal rent. My mom's cousin paid them a visit about a week ago and tried to tell them they weren't doing this child any favors by bringing it into a life of poverty. My mom was very rude to my aunt and told her that a woman who chose to remain barren will never understand a mother's love. My aunt never wanted kids nor had any, one of the reasons she's my fave. My dad told her to get out. Aunt told me there was nothing she could do, but she did try. I didn't blame her. The cousin tried to explain the economic impact this kid would have, and my mom cried about how everyone was trying to take away her baby. What the hell? The intervention didn't do crap. So now I've decided to cut contact with my parents. I just can't watch my family slide further and further into a hellhole. I'll be maintaining contact with my sister, 16, just to make sure my parents can't brainwash her. My older brother is going to stay in touch with all of them, which is a good thing as he can act as a link between me and the other siblings if my parents ever forbid them from talking to me. Otherwise, I'm done with these people. I applaud you. You don't owe them your college fund. They made their bed, they can lay in it. You might want to discuss with your siblings about it signing anything over to their parents if your uncle left you all some money. OP. My parents can't touch the money. Only my siblings can withdraw it when they turn 18. My sister will be 18 in a year and a half And I've explained to her that she's going to need it for college. Hopefully, I was able to convince her. I'm not against people having kids or big families, but your parents are irresponsible. They hide behind religion to have children. I hope your college goes well. Your parents remind me of my cousin. Had 5 kids and lost all of them because she never worked so she could take care of them. There's nothing wrong with wanting or having a lot of kids, but if you can't afford to raise them properly, then at the very least you can try to avoid having them. The story that happened to me yesterday. I am on vacation at a touristy beach spot. Went out mid-morning to the beach before the crowds and set up my towel, umbrella, chair, cooler, etc. Around 11 a.m. While laying on my towel tanning with headphones in, I get a tap on my shoulder. Open my eyes to a middle-aged woman standing over me and her family and young kids, starting to set up multiple umbrellas, chairs, and toys about 10 behind me. When I took my headphones out, the woman proceeds to tell me that my bathing suit is inappropriate to be around her children, and so I will need to move. Note: bathing suit is a cheeky bikini bottom, but not a thong. I tell her I was there first, they can find somewhere else to set up if it offends her. She proceeds to say there are no other close spots to the water. I tell her I'm not moving and put the headphones back in. About an hour later, I decide to hop in the water for a dip to cool off. While in the water, I look at the shoreline and the woman has packed up my stuff with her husband and is carrying it away from the area. I hop out of the water and get a lifeguard to call beach security while I watch them walk my stuff up the beach to relocate it. Beach security and I approach them, they try to play dumb and say it's their stuff, so they are asked to open the wallet to show ID. Surprise, it is my ID. Cops are then called, and I chose to press charges for theft. And I got my spot back since the family was kicked off the beach. They got what they deserved. I absolutely hate entitled people who think they can get whatever they want. Unfortunately, their children learn from them and we end up with more. I need to go to the beach with you now. You would stop my crap from getting stolen. I would even pay you. Thank you for pressing charges. I hate when people let screws like this off the hook easily. Stick it to them hard and never look back. At one of the movie theaters I frequent, there is a ticket scanner who has some kind of medical condition. Cerebral palsy, I believe, though I'm not 100% sure. He's in a wheelchair and his hands are kinda droopy, if that makes any sense. His job is basically to check your tickets, or, if you bought the ticket online, to scan the barcode. He does have a bit of difficulty doing it, as you can imagine, but he does do a good job of it. After he scans my barcode, I always say thank you. The last time I went to that particular movie theater, I was in front of a woman with 2 younger children. The guy was trying to scan the barcode but was kinda struggling to keep his arm in the exact position that he needed it to be. No worries. Me and my cousins were early to the theater, so we had plenty of time to wait. However, the mother was clearly getting frustrated. Eventually, the ticket taker managed to scan the barcode and told the mother where she and her children needed to go. I assumed that she would just be on her way. However, I distinctly heard her say they need to stop hiring. I can't even bring myself to say the word, but you can probably guess what it is. I was absolutely flabbergasted. You hear about this kind of ableism, but to actually see it is a completely different experience. My younger cousin actually whispered to me, "Did she just say what I think she just said?" All 4 of us were absolutely horrified. And the fact that she said it loud enough for that poor boy to hear was even worse. It's not his fault. Do you think he asked to be born this way? However, the saddest thing about this whole situation was that it honestly wouldn't surprise me if that's not the first time he's heard that. Needless to say, I made sure to be extra polite to him. I would have been polite anyways, but I felt he needed extra encouragement about that rude crap. Can we all just agree to treat people with special needs with the respect that they deserve? To that person, it likely wasn't even about special needs. It was a person who longs for situations where they can feel superior to others. Her kids probably hear similar comments: if the bagger is too slow to suit her at the supermarket, a store clerk can't answer her stupid question, etc. Unfortunately, so many people have been raised in such a privileged lifestyle that they have this out of sight, out of mind mindset towards people with disabilities. They complain about them existing in public places because that means they have to confront their own privilege. Disability only exists because our society shuns those less able to function in the high-paced, work-focused capitalistic economy. But major props to the ticket scanner, and here's hoping fewer people like that woman exist in the future. I'm angry for a kid I don't know. Trouble is this mother is raising her next generation to be just like her. Hope their car broke down in the car park and the movie was terrible.